It wasn't long before the approaching speedboat got on the cruise ship, but it started to get hacked. The criminal figures of the just arrived speedboat immediately seized the side stairs of the cruise ship, which had been secretly launched by some. They started climbing up. Their boss, wearing his sweater like a turban above his head to shield himself from the sun, jumped furiously onto the deck. With the automatic in his hands, consistently reported giving instructions to his associates by satellite telephone. Suddenly, voices and gunshots from the cabins were heard, distracting the vessel's safety guard. He had taken up position and began to shoot at the rising pirates in order to repel them, which of course responded to the fire. The conflict was widespread and the exchange of fire was constantly intensifying. But the struggle amongst them was uneven. The pirates, who were far better equipped and trained, eventually won. The ship's master and all personnel, after surrendering, were imprisoned in a hold. Communication with and between the other portions of the vessel had been interrupted. However, the only requirement of the pirates was to ignore Larnaca as their next destination and shoot for Thessaloniki. It was surprising, since this was not part of the cruise program at all. But 100 miles southwest, NATO maintains a naval force that closely monitors the area through Operation Active Endeavour. Soon somebody from the fighting forces picked up a pirate signal. Immediately the Greek frigate Zara, which was closer to the current event, was ordered to go there and help with its helicopter in tracking the pirate ship. The helicopter engaged in a firefight against the speedboat vessel upon arrival, firing over 200 bullets in less than an hour. Finally, it immobilized them. He then brought down a task force of the helicopter. This team, through the pirate-abandoned intercom system, succeeded to locate the remainder of the criminal and terrorist group on the cruise ship. Next passed to the next decisive and final phase of the response, their final neutralization. The pirates' accomplices panicked and left behind prosecution papers. So, at one point, they found a card registered in a drawer in a classroom where they were staying, that is, their headquarters, which, after examination, sounded the alarm. This chart showed the sinking of a ship, the French steamship Guadalquivir, in the port of Thessaloniki in 1903 by the so-called sailors. They realized that they had to do with the terrorist group VMRO, a chronic European criminal group with terrorist circuits or extensions of political party. When they had a closer look at the greeting card, they noticed a word on the back, Mu. They are just the initials of Make Nija Na Make Donside, the redeeming slogan of the terrorist group VMRO of the time. Only now did they understand, surprised, and at the same time frightened, the reason of their insistence upon Thessalonica. They had planned to visit the town to celebrate the explosion of the French steamship, Guadalquivir, with another delayed explosion of a modern French cruise ship. On April 28, 1903, one of the members of the VMRO team in question, claiming to be a passenger, boarded the French steamer Guadalquivir. He hid 12 kilos of dynamite in a niche and detonated them, just as it was leaving the port of Thessaloniki. It was a vessel of 2,700 tons with 1,420 horsepower, launched in 1888 and owned by the French company Messagerie Maritime. The bomber himself was later arrested at Skopje train station. But that wasn't the only terrorist act. That same night, other bombers of the group, known under the name of Gemijai boatmen, hit a station between Thessaloniki and Istanbul, causing damage. They also blew up a bank under which they had excavated a tunnel and carried out numerous other attacks. It should be noted that the plot for the attack on Thessaloniki was well designed. Someone with explosives had planned to turn off the city's electricity and water supply systems. The question that comes to their mind with great concern and yet imperative now is, what is going to happen now? What's more than blowing up the cruise ship are some people preparing those hours? Is this going to be a robbery and the explosion of another bank in Thessalonica? What, or some other thing? European or Balkan crime never gives up. Stay hidden, loot, and wait for a good chance to attack again. So does the terrorist VMRO. Civilized Europe has learned much from its numerous attacks. Time has passed, but Europe has never forgotten what happened. As the attack on Thessaloniki with the sinking of the French steamer Guadalquivir in its harbor in 1903 has not forgotten. Still remembers the so-called boatman, the Gemigii, who acted with the assistance of the terrorist group VMRO.